So, hi everyone. I thought I'd just make this video today because a lot of people have been asking me sort of about the fact that I'm going back to sixth form, and I have been going back to sixth form this year for what is sort of technically known as like year 14. So I thought I'd just go into a little bit about that and also answer some questions which people have been asking me about that, about why I chose to do that, and how it's been for me in the last couple of days of being going back. So the reason why I chose to go back to sixth form is because the fact that my sixth form were good enough in the first year to understand that I was struggling like a hell of a lot. And basically they gave me another chance. They gave me a chance to kind of do something with my life, and they gave me that opportunity to help myself. So they gave me the option to drop 2 A levels in the first year from 4 to 2. So I did 2 ASs in the first year. I then did, that was in year 12. In year 13, I then did 2 A2s and an AS. And then I did, and now I'm currently finishing off, so I'm doing an A2 in just media. And the options kind of were, I either quit sixth form and go to like a college or an apprenticeship, or find another option that's going to suit me better, or I do this extra year. So obviously at the time I knew sort of the consequences of that, and I knew that it was going to be difficult, but I thought, it's 2 years away, I don't need to think about it. But sort of as the time came closer to finishing year 13 and starting year 14, it started to hit me quite hard, because I knew that every single day for the past 7 years of being at that school, I had my friends around me every single day. They, even if a couple were ill, there were still people there that I could talk to, that I could sit with at lunch and at break and in study periods, and walk with and do whatever with. And so I was really kind of nervous and anxious about what it was going to be like going back to school kind of without them, when it feels like they're moving on with their lives and I'm still in the same position. But what I've come to realise is that I'm moving on with my life as well. Just because this is taking me a little bit longer than it's taken everyone else, I'm still doing something different. I'm still building on my life. I'm now in school for between like 5 and 6 hours a week. It's only 3 double periods a week. And that's all I have to be in for. So I just sit in my classes, I do the work, and I leave again. Which is, it's okay, because that means I do other things. I teach guitar and drums, I do some building work, I occasionally do things like in London, and I do things at a pub, which is all great. So I want to talk about now what it's been like for me in the past sort of 3 days going back to school. And I could tell you that it is even worse than I imagined, to be honest. I went in on Monday, and I went to the common room after to get some more work done, and all the new year 12s were staring at me. I could feel them staring at me, and I knew that they were wondering why I was back there. Was I just being stupid, and I couldn't do it, so they held me back, so it's a bit embarrassing having to kind of deal with that. And the second point is that I have no friends. No friends. I mean, I have people at the sixth form that I know like 1, 2, 3, about 3, 4 people that I'd know to talk to, but because they have their own social friendship groups, it's hard to kind of find people to not even just sit with in school, because people tell me that I'm barely in school, it shouldn't matter. It does matter, because all of a sudden when my friends go to uni on the 19th, in the evenings and the weekends and lunchtimes and whatever else, I just feel like I'm kind of on my own now. They're going off to meet new friends, and that's why I feel like I need to do the same. I need to find new friends and try and kind of build a social life with them. So There was a couple of questions that I've been asked, and from people mainly that just they don't know me, as in they don't live around near me, and they've asked me some questions. So I've explained one of them is why I stayed back and why I chose to stay back. But the main reason is the fact that I chose to stay back because I knew it would benefit me in the future. So even though this year is going to be tough, I have to do a lot of running around to different jobs and sixth forms, and I have to cope with, people saying things and maybe not knowing many people and feeling a bit out of place, but it's a year. I've already done 13 of those years. I can do another one. If it's going to benefit me in 5, 10, 20 years' time, then I'm willing to put the effort in because the school are giving me a chance to help myself, so I chose to take it. So a piece of advice that I give to other people that get put in this situation, and I know that some trans people do get put in this situation. They get asked, do they want to do an extra year or retake or something like that, and do it. If it takes a bit more work and it takes a bit more effort to retake subjects and stuff, do it. I can't stress that enough because it's going to benefit you so much in the future. And that's what you got to think about. You may have, we all have a lot of problems going on in our lives at the moment, but the more stuff you can get done now, the easier it's going to be later in life. So that's just mainly my big piece of advice at the moment, is that take every single opportunity as it comes. Don't let opportunities slip through your fingers. Don't pass up opportunities because you don't think you're good enough, or you're worried, or you're anxious about them. Because I suffer with, which I found out very, very recently, I suffer with, mild anxiety. So, in certain situations, and going back to sixth form was a massive, anxious panic. But I went there and I did it and I got through the first few days, and now I just got to get through the rest of the year. And I've got things to look forward to. I hope my top half surgery will be done this year, and other things like that. So yeah, that's my big piece of advice, to help out as many people as possible. And if you've got any other questions about anything, but especially in regard to this video and about staying back years, and if you want advice on what should you do if you're not coping, or what should you do if you don't feel like this is for you or whatever, just hit me up anytime, and I'm always there to help you out and ask you questions and answer your questions. So yeah, all right, thank you very much.